Well, hello there, friends and kin. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to invite you to take a walk with me through Elmwood Cemetery here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Kind of pan around, let you get a view. This is one of the oldest cemeteries in the city. One of there's a couple that are older, but the this particular cemetery has individuals buried going as far back as pre-revolution. Some of the founders of the county that I'm in, and this is such a beautiful place. I mean, there's just surrounded by green everywhere, and it's just quiet, peaceful. And you guys have seen the Rose Hill Cemetery I visit in my Sunday service, and I'm there once a week. Here, I visit this place multiple times a week. Even though I live in York, South Carolina, I work in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the office I work at is, walking here takes me about 10 minutes. And so I very much so take advantage of it, utilize it. I do a lot of prayer here. And I have done a lot of prayer here over the years. Even one of my, I've done several different self-initiation rituals for my craft, and one of them was conducted here. Now, this behemoth that you see behind me, this is a tree I've been doing work next to for a while now. The tree I originally connected with here was unfortunately cut down about a year ago. He had developed a type of infection that oak trees get, where they'll secrete this black, thick liquid that almost kind of looks like a sap, but it isn't. It's a fermented bacterial substance, the name of which I don't recall and probably would struggle to pronounce. It can kill oak trees, and this particular tree, a significant amount of his body was dead because of it, so they had to cut him down as a safety hazard, because of a safety hazard. Very large, very old tree that kept losing large limbs, and I guess the caretakers here were just terrified somebody was going to get hurt. But still broke my heart when you develop relationships, and that's something I'd like to encourage discussion about in the comments here. When you develop relationships with areas that you do your work in, typically the trees, the plants, they become like friends to you. You start acknowledging them as spirit entities and spirit beings, people. So when you lose one, I mean, it almost hurts just as bad as someone dying. And I'll completely fess up when that particular tree was taken down. I grieved as though I had lost a person. And but the impression I got from working with that spirit was that there were plenty of others here willing to work with me, and I found several. And this guy right here ended up being the one that I connected with the most. And so every day that I get to work from home in a sort of a hybrid schedule, but all the days I have to drive into Charlotte, I'll come here in the mornings usually. Sometimes if traffic makes me run late, I have to wait till my lunch break. But I'll come out here and say a short prayer to Santamwerte and just spend a little bit of time in prayer and meditation and do some energy work with the land. And this place has always felt so peaceful. It's not one of those places you get the feeling is haunted or disturbed in any way. This is a sanctuary, and I'm grateful to have access to it. I'm grateful to be able to experience it. I think any souls that still linger around here are very comfortable being at rest. The experiences I've had have all been positive, and where I feel a sense of willingness to help. But at the same time, I've also experienced instances where the spirits here were disrespected in some way, and they did not care for it. Coming up on about a year ago, I ran across in one of the more secluded areas of this cemetery. I ran across the remains of somebody's spell work, and it was a talisman made specifically to harm somebody, and it was pretty blatant, because it was a ball that was constructed out of articles of clothing I assume belonged to the intended target, and the target's picture was then taped onto this ball of cloth, and then a bunch of pins were stuck into it. And I did some divination right then and there with my cards and with a pendulum, and the information I got is that this was an act of extreme malice, but it was done without the consent or the blessings of the spirits who reside here, and that did not make them happy. Not that there's anything wrong with performing malefic magic. A good chunk of us do that when the need arises. So that's not the issue I had with that particular instance, but finding it, I think, was the guides that I have here. I think they wanted me to find it and sort of dispel it or disrupt it, because it was done without their consent and with no tribute or any type of respect paid to them. And I'm a firm believer that any work of magic, whether malevolent or benevolent, you should honor the spirit of the land on which you perform the work. I think that's just an act of respect. It's kind of like when you rent a campground or a retreat to hold a spiritual event, and you of course pay the people letting you use the land and clean up after yourself when you're done. And I think that spirit work, I think there's a very similar protocol there. Whatever type of working you're doing, I think you should ask the land's permission or its spirit guardians or caretakers. Offer them something for the trouble, or just as a show of respect. And don't forget to show your gratitude when you're done, especially if you've asked for their aid and they've given it, or gave it anyway. Again, it's just the polite, respectful thing to do. And this person didn't do that. But I did what was asked of me, and walked away with a feeling of lightness and just overall a sense of relief. And I don't think those feelings were mine. I think I was picking up on what the spirits were feeling, because that's how I experience spirit communication. It's not a voice in my ear. It's not a voice in my head. It's nothing verbal. It's usually emotional. It's feelings, thoughts or feelings that I experience that are not my own. So that's another question I'll pose too. Aside from talking about developing spirit relationships where you do your work, and showing respect to the spirits of place during your work, I'll throw that out there too. How do the spirits you work with communicate with you? Is it verbal? Do you get words? Do you get images, or is it just feelings? But thank you for taking the time to join me on my little walk and my ponderings, and hopefully we get some conversation started in the comments. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. That really helps me. And please join in the conversation. I have met some really wonderful people through interactions on YouTube here with my videos There are several people I've become really good friends with and have gotten to know better because we started interacting more here. We knew each other either on Instagram or Facebook. And when I started doing these videos, they started watching, and that prompted us to start speaking more one-on-one. And all of those relationships are awesome. I love that interaction, so please do. And as I said in the last Sunday service, I've started a Discord server that's linked to this channel. So if you want to join in on conversation there, please let me know. And most of my videos in the description have a link to my Instagram, so feel free to connect with me there. That's really one of the better ways to get a hold of me. And I look forward to talking with you. So have a wonderful day, friends and kin. Thank you again for joining me. We'll talk soon.